you know? And you can hear a lot of that stuff's just the same. It's just the same shit over and over. It's all like roughs and drags, you know, like. That's what I work on.
Yeah.
You know, and because that's pretty much the stuff that I'm hearing in my head.
Yeah.
And I want to get to a point where I can play what's in my head. That's really hard for me. Right. Instead of like, because when you learn a lick, like, you know, like the licks that you always hear people talking, like the bludgeon and the 9 and all, you know, I still kind of, those are kind of the break glass in case of emergency, you know, the old reliable, I need some for 2 counts, so it sounds really cool. You know what I mean? And, I mean, there is that, and I still do that, but there's the, you know, just kind of reaching and like, because I spend time singing that stuff to myself. Yeah. That's not by choice, it's just the shit that I hear.
Yeah. No,
you know? Yeah. It really is a language.
Yeah.
And I've sometimes I catch myself like applying the same principles of learning a language, you know, to learning like drumming, you know, like words are, you know, there's letters make up words, words make up sentences, sentences make up paragraphs, and paragraphs make up a story. What do you want to say? You know, once you get to a point where it's like, okay, I can spell, I can put letters together, I can make a word, you know, I can play a phrase, you know, and now I can play a story, you know. That's my story.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that, I mean, that's what I'm trying to do, is just play like more expressive than just like, you know, well, I learned this lick, so let me turn it on.
So it seems to be working for you. Yeah.
I don't know, man. Sometimes, you know, sometimes I feel good about it, and other times not, you know, just like anyone else, you know. But I mean, I really gauge like how well other musicians respond to what I'm doing, you know, as a gauge for success to a certain degree. I mean, I'd like to think that I have enough discretion to know when I'm sounding good and when I'm not, just when I'm here by myself, you know what I mean? And I mean, there are some things when I was playing a few minutes ago, and you know, some of the shit didn't come out clean, but I think that there's a novelty to just kind of going for something and only reaching it like 85-90%. Yeah. You know, I'd rather almost, I think that's more appealing than just like, well, he's got it nailed.
Yeah.
Some guys are like that. They're like scientists. And how is it more fun to watch someone that's mastered something, or is it more fun to watch someone try for something and they just, he just barely pulled, oh man, did you see that? As opposed to like, wow, he's really got that mastered. Wow, that really looks like it doesn't take any effort at all. That's great. And it is. Like, I mean, I'm exaggerating now, but what I'm saying, I mean, that, you know, I mean, that gets in the whole like who you like watching and you know, that kind of thing. What kind of drummer you prefer to watch and whether or not you're entertaining, how much should that dictate like what you do on the drums? I really don't think it does, unless you play in a circus. You know what I mean? It's just either you happen to be entertaining or you don't. And if you think that you're not and you want to work on it, then work on it.
Yeah, it's that going for it thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, that kind of playing doesn't really come from practicing licks or anything. I think that kind of playing comes from a totally different place. It comes from an emotional place. And I was talking about this with someone else recently. It's like, you practice a lot of things, and it's like, why are you playing? I mean, just generally speaking, not like you. Like, why are you playing what you're playing? Like, when you're playing with a band and you're gonna play a fill, what fill are you gonna play and why are you playing it? A lot of times, not so much these days, I try not to, but for a long time I would just play a fill because I thought it sounded cool, or I had just learned it, or a reason that had nothing to do with music at all. And a lot of times, and this is the scary thing, is when you're playing, if you turn on a fill because you think it's cool, or you do something that really doesn't have anything to do with music, you're probably not going to realize it right then and there. I don't, anyway.
Right.
These are the kind of things that are really obvious to me, luckily for me, when I listen to myself back. There's a lot of recordings of we play at the Baked Potato every month and a half or so.
Oh, I just visited. I found that today.
Oh, you did? You went there?
Yeah, well, by accident.
Right.
Yeah.
But, and I don't like listening to myself, on these gigs. Most of the time I don't. Sometimes I do,
Yeah.
and it's funny because the times that I do, it is those times where I'm reacting to the music and thinking about supporting the music and that kind of thing. I mean, making the decision to play what you play based on music, not based on drumming.
Yeah. No.
Or cool drumming or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Then how more to
You
the-
just gotta record yourself and listen back, and I'll instead of sitting there and listening, I'll be on my computer and I'll just minimize it and I'll surf the web and stuff and just tap my foot like I would anyone else.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I'm like, wow, that was a fucking stupid fill.
Yeah, don't do that again.
That had nothing to do with what was going on. I think it's okay to play aggressive fills when it comes to key transitions, like the old going from the hat to the ride during someone's solo, where you really put it in the next gear, you build up the energy. But other than that, at key places, play a key fill, not just for the sake of doing it.
Yeah.
You can really tell when someone's playing like that, and I still play like that, but I'm kind of more aware of it, and I'm trying to tone it down a little.